This image is terrifying for me. Terrifying in a lot of ways. On the left, you have January 6th. On the right, you have Congress waving Ukrainian flags. The terrifying thing is that the people on the left are waving American flags. There's Gadsden flags and there's Trump flags. I'm not a big fan of the Trump flags, but what I can say for that is it's a flag of an American president. And the American flags are symbols of this country. And the Gadsden flags a symbol of the ideas behind the revolution. Don't tread on me. The idea ultimately being, leave me alone, let me live my life. We'll all do the same thing. On the right, you have Ukrainian flags. People in our Congress who are saying that Ukraine's border is our border. That's a quote. The context being that we have to stop Russia. And if Russia were to win. So this image terrifies me for a lot of reasons. I don't agree with fighting with cops and storming the Capitol. I don't agree with how January 6th went down. I think it was bad. I think the people that fought cops should get criminal charges. I don't know. What do you get? A couple months, maybe? Maybe probation? No, they're getting 20 years. The people on the left are motivated by a deep, deep sense of fear that this country is being lost. They're motivated by a deep sense of fear that evil people are siphoning money away from the people and causing problems. I do think January 6th was absolutely wrong. But that's not what's scary to me. What's scary to me is the picture on the right. Well, we can certainly say that riots are wrong. You shouldn't do these things. And, these people who believed the election was stolen. And what I mean by stolen in this context is like a foreign government intervened and globalists and all that stuff. I certainly think that Democrats, many of whom are seen waving Ukrainian flags, play dirty games. But the rules are set. And I think for a lot of Trump supporters, they realized elections aren't about convincing people. Many of these people were first-time voters, and they didn't understand this. That Donald Trump won the argument was meaningless because Democrats collected more ballots. That's all that matters, universal mail-in voting. So I will stress this again. There were many people on January 6th waving American flags, had no idea what was going on. It's scary that the people who committed the crimes on January 6th, and I'm going to stress this again, I'm talking about the people who ripped the barricades down, the people like Ray Epps, he's been criminally charged, the people who pushed cops and were fighting cops and smashing things. It's crazy to me that these people who actually smashed windows and stormed into the Capitol, not the bumbling dutards and the people who are confused. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the actual rioters. It's crazy to me that at the very least, they like this country. And that's not saying a lot for smashing up the Capitol. I got to stress this too. I've defended a lot of J6ers, but I want to make sure it's clear the deep offense I feel to some of the people who were there, the rioters, all of them actually, the ones literally attacking cops, but there were artifacts that were damaged and destroyed. That is deeply offensive to me. There was like this old writing desk or something. And there were a few things. It's not like the damage was burning down buildings and firebombing, federal buildings or anything like that. But I'm just going to say that I wish it didn't happen. And I think it's wrong and it should not happen. What's on the right with Ukrainian flags terrifies me. January 6th doesn't terrify me. A riot doesn't terrify me. People smashing into a building and fighting cops does not terrify me. It's disconcerting. But at no point were the J6ers going to do anything to this country. Standing inside of a building would not change the function of this nation. Occupying a capital would not change the function of this country. It is not the 1600s. Taking a building is meaningless. But waving the flags of a foreign nation, that's deeply disconcerting. I'm going to play this clip for you. This clip is deeply disconcerting.
Some say, well, we have to deal with our border first. The Ukrainian-Russian border is our border. Some say, well, we have to deal with.
This is Gerald Connolly, a Democrat from Virginia's 11th District, Reston, Centerville, Fairfax, and Burke. Really close to where we live. We go to Reston quite a bit. They got good food down there. I think Reston's actually where Barcelona is. And I've shouted them out before because they rock. It's a tapas restaurant. Trust me, you go there, it will change your life. It's so good. Everything there is just absolutely amazing. Charcuterie. Oh, man. Shout out. I love the chicken. Anyway, I digress. I love these places. They're nice places. They're very wealthy places. Now, the greater context here was he was saying something to the effect of, Russia will advance. It'll go after NATO. It's going to drag us all into this. And of course, this is the clip. The Ukrainian-Russian border is our border. This was in response to me posting this image is terrifying. The terrifying image to me is people in our government waving the flag of a foreign nation. Not because it's saying that they've subverted this country or they hate America. They're waving the flags in support of a foreign country as part of American imperial expansionism. I don't know what we're doing there. I don't know why NATO needs to keep doing what they're doing. And perhaps that's it. If only I knew. I'll tell you what happened. Jack Posobiec, shout out. He tweeted something like this. Donald Trump gets elected, goes into the confidential briefing. The deep state says, here's the package. Here's the information. And Trump says, I get it. No. They said, what do you mean, Mr. President? No. This is what we're going to do. And he goes, no. And so everything we saw was them saying, okay, let's play. Mike Johnson walks into the meeting and they said, here's the packet. And he goes, done deal. And now we're going to be spending billions of dollars on Ukraine and Israel while our southern border is porous and criminals are flooding in. That's terrifying. That the people who are waving the flag of a foreign country don't care. They don't care. They argue against it. We are being gutted and ripped to shreds. Here you go. Breaking news just popped up. Columbia doesn't allow NYPD officers on campus. Well, back to the main story. Lawmakers waved the flags after passing $60 billion in aid for Ukraine. Here's what I'm going to offer up. Man, maybe this is the trap, but I'm going to say it anyway. How about we take that $60 billion and we evenly divide it up amongst all people and, I don't know, we pay off debt. Everybody equally. $60 billion spread out to the American peoples. Not so much money, but it matters. We'll call it a stimulus. I got to be honest. I don't care if they take the entire $60 billion, walk up to one guy randomly on the street and hand him a check. I would prefer that over the funding to Ukraine. And that guy can do whatever he wants with it. An American, of course. That could be the trap in that they purposely build these systems out so that the big ask is, well, we could give the $60 billion to Ukraine, but I suppose we'll student loan forgiveness. And then you're like, fine, we'll take it because at least Americans are getting it. And like, nah, that's the trick, right? Ukrainian flags fly in the chamber of the U.S. House of Representatives as they vote to send more of your hard-earned money to corrupt foreign regime, Rand Paul said. And just like that, they shout, Ukraine, Ukraine, while happily working to secure Ukraine's borders, not ours. And that's why that image is terrifying to me. The bad guys are the American flag wavers, and the good guys are the Ukraine flag wavers. I'll put it this way. What the Democrats are doing in Congress is substantially more destructive than January 6th could have ever been. January 6th was bad, criminal, and it shouldn't happen again. I think the people who rioted, as I stated before, should be in jail. Or, but like what, 6 months? Maybe probation for light offenders. Trespassers should get a slap on the wrist. They should get, trespassing should be criminal supervision. And, the people who walked in confused, so long as there's no evidence of any violence or anything, they should get charged with criminal trespass. And they should pay, I don't know, like $100. Like, don't trespass. You didn't know, fine. So we'll just call it a fine of some sort, and then we'll call it a day. And maybe that's even excessive, to be completely honest, because a lot of people didn't know. How are you going to charge someone who didn't know they were trespassing? But at the very least, it's like, okay, fine, slap on the wrist. We all go home. Trespassing charge. The verdict, court supervision. What does that mean? It means don't commit crimes and nothing happens. That's really all it means. Now we have members of Congress selling us out to a foreign country that, with no justification and no reason, and it risks sending us into World War III. How could we function as a country if this is the case? The people who did bad on January 6th care more about this country than the people serving in Congress. I'm sorry. We're fucked. I look at that image and I'm just like, damn. Waving those flags, spitting on us, spitting in our faces. The American people don't want this war funded, but they're going to do it anyway. They won't justify why they're doing it. They don't care. They won't come to us and tell us any real reason. Russia will invade Europe. Shut up. It makes no sense. None. NATO's already there. If Ukraine joins NATO, then Russia's invading NATO as it is. So what does it matter if it's Ukraine or Poland? If Russia was going to do it, they'd do it. Insanity. But I don't know what else to tell you, man. That's our Congress. What I can tell you is this. If you're a moderate, right-leaning, left-leaning, whatever, look, what we're seeing at these Columbia campuses, that thing that popped up, the left has gone insane. They don't support what we support. They hate America. They burn American flags. The people in Congress are waving the flags of foreign countries and sending your money to them. Come November, we must vote. Today, we must get fit. Tomorrow, we must register all of our friends and family members and tell them they have to go vote. Y'all need to be knocking on doors, volunteering. We all have to do the best we can. The obligation to be the best versions of ourselves for future generations. Otherwise, it all comes crashing down, and the future will be communist China. I wish you luck. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.